The Roman Empire was perhaps the most organized and documented civilization in history. They recorded every pie, every war, and even the daily market accounts of their empire. But hidden within the pages of history is an object that Rome never acknowledged. It is a bronze object, looking much like a small geometric puzzle box. Scientists call it the dodecahedron, a mysterious structure with 12 equal sides. For the past 200 years, this has been an unsolved puzzle for archaeologists. But in 2025, a leaked research paper took this mystery in a completely different direction. When scientists finally reached a conclusion about what this object is, it will send shivers down your spine. This is no ordinary tool, and it isn't even Roman. So, who made it, and why did Rome leave no trace of it? In today's video, we will search for that truth which has been buried for centuries. First, let's look at the construction of this object. It is essentially a hollow bronze case with 12 sides, and each side has a circular hole. The holes are not the same size on a single object. They are all different. And at each corner, there is a rounded knob. As simple as it looks, the technology to make it was incredibly complex. To date, only about 130 dodecahedrons have been found across all of Europe. But here lies the first big mystery. The Romans were masters of mass production. They made thousands of coins, weapons, and statues. So why is the count of this complex design only just over 100? And the most baffling fact is not a single dodecahedron has been found in Rome's capital or Italy. They have all been found in the border areas of the Empire Britain, France, Germany. Is it possible that a civilization that wrote everything down simply forgot their most mysterious invention? No, this wasn't forgetfulness. It was the result of intentional erasure. There are thousands of Roman frescoes, mosaics, and statues, but not one depicts a dodecahedron. There is no mention of it in any of their written texts. It seems someone intentionally wanted to wipe this object from history. But why? And what was it actually used for? Scientists have proposed theories for centuries, but all have proven wrong. Let's look at what those theories were and why they fell apart. The most popular theory was that it was a candlestick holder. It sounds logical, but what does the evidence say? No wax marks or soot have been found on any dodecahedron. If it were used to hold candles, there would surely be traces of wax or smoke. But not a single sample shows this. So this theory is canceled. The second theory was that it was a military rangefinder. The idea was that soldiers used the holes to estimate distance for targeting. The holes on the same object vary in size. How can a tool measure accurate distance without any scale or calibration? Furthermore, none have been found in military camps or battlefields. They aren't even listed in the inventories of Roman soldiers. Another funny theory went viral on the internet, that it was a knitting gauge. People claimed different-sized holes were used to knit gloves or socks. But archaeologists dismissed this as laughable. Such knitting technology didn't exist in ancient Rome. Making such a complex structure out of bronze just to knit socks is illogical. Scientists thought it might be a child's toy, but the construction cost was sky-high. It was made of pure bronze, which was out of reach for ordinary people back then. So, the question remains, an object made of such expensive materials, with no practical use? Why was it created? This question shattered 200 years of theory. And then an event happened that changed everything. The story moves to the summer of 2023, in a quiet village in Britain. Norton Disney, the name might sound funny, but what happened there was dead serious. A volunteer archaeological team was conducting a dig there. They found a metallic object beneath the soil. Dr. Richard Parker, who has been involved in Roman digs for 20 years, saw it first. Said the whole field went silent in that moment. It was a completely fresh and intact dodecahedron. Usually objects found with metal detectors are damaged, but this Norton Disney specimen was as good as new, as if made yesterday. Its bronze color was mirror-like, with no corrosion, and it was found in a sealed context, meaning it wasn't lost. It was intentionally buried under the soil. 3rd century coins and iron tools were found with it. This proves it wasn't an ordinary item. It was a hidden treasure. But the real shock came when it was taken to the lab. In early 2025, a research paper leaked that caused a storm in the scientific community. Dr. Alina Richter and her team conducted a metallurgical analysis of the object. What they saw made it hard for them to believe. The Norton Disney dodecahedron was not Roman. The alloy mixture in its core did not match Roman standards. Instead, it matched pre-Roman, Celtic, or Iron Age metallurgy. Carbon dating revealed it was at least 150 years before the Roman invasion. This single fact destroyed every theory. It cannot be a Roman tool because Rome hadn't set foot there yet. So whose is it, and what is inside it? Dr. Marcus Webb, a radiochemical analyst from Oxford, took the next step. He decided to test the hollow interior of the object. When the spectrometry report came in, he asked his assistant to leave the room. What he saw was terrifying. Inside the microscopic molecules of the dodecahedron, he found calcium phosphate. In scientific terms, these are the remains of burnt bone. But not just bone, it was mixed with amber resin and rendered animal fat. This mixture is directly related to cremation practices or necromancy rituals in ancient Europe. Dr. Webb stated that he had seen human bones and artifacts before, but never sealed intentionally inside a device like this. This was no accident. It was the object's primary purpose. The question arose, why was burnt human bone placed inside a geometric object? The terrifying suspicion began to grow among researchers. Perhaps it wasn't just to honor the dead, but made to communicate with them. The varying hole sizes, the play of light and shadow, could this be a communication device? It's not modern technology, but perhaps a spiritual antenna, through which the living wanted to hear the dead. And when we look at its geographical location in light of this theory, the picture becomes clearer. Dodecahedrons are found almost exclusively on the western frontier of the Roman Empire. Britain, Gaul, France, Germany, these areas were strongholds of Celtic culture. Rome may have ruled here, but they could never fully suppress local religion and beliefs. We see these objects found in burial sites, riverbanks, or settlement boundaries. According to ancient beliefs, these places were liminal spaces, boundaries between life and death. They saw rivers as the path to the afterlife, meaning the Romans didn't lose these. They were used in places where magic rituals took place. And this is where the role of the Roman Empire becomes suspicious. Roman law, specifically the Lex Cornelia, made magic and unauthorized religious activities a crime. Rome didn't believe in religion, they believed in control. Anything outside their control was destroyed. Dodecahedrons were likely among those forbidden tools used by local Celtic priests. That is why there is no written record of them. Recording them would legitimize them. Rome wanted people to forget these objects, but in late 2024, a manuscript was found that cleared all doubts. Dr. Isabel Moro, a paleographer, found it in a Swiss monastery archive. A 12th century manuscript had a chapter titled Mysteria Dolor. It contained a phrase, Orbis Divinorum, or the divine sphere. The text described an object with 12 holes, used by the whispering ones of the forest. It was used to hear the voices of the stone sleepers, or the dead. When the manuscript was read using high-resolution UV cameras, scientists froze. It had a warning, keep this hidden from the eyes of the empire, and bury it when the stars turn. This instruction matches exactly the archaeological finds where dodecahedrons were buried underground. This is no longer a questioned object. It was forbidden technology, a technology that tried to break the boundary between life and death. And Rome did not want that boundary broken. Now the question is, how did this geometric box work? Scientists from Ghent University and Oxford came forward to find the answer. They tested the light and shadow patterns of the dodecahedron using 3D printed models. The shadow it casts in sunlight is actually unbelievable. The light entering through the holes creates a complex geometric shape inside. During the equinox, it creates a pentagonal shadow that rotates throughout the day. It looks a lot like a solar clock, but without numbers. Researchers say it wasn't for measuring time, but rather a scheduling device. It could capture specific light at specific times, essential for rituals. But the real magic happened when something was burned inside it. Lab tests show that the chemical residues found inside the dodecahedron are extremely special. Lavender, thyme, and pine resin, these are all ingredients used in ancient Egyptian and European embalming. Meaning this device didn't just preserve bone, but created an environment by spreading its scent, an environment that could put humans into a trance or altered state. Imagine a dark room, fire burning inside the dodecahedron, the scent of herbs floating in the air, and beams of light coming out of the holes dancing on the walls. Oh, is this just a stage act, or is there deep scientific knowledge behind it? We as modern humans might dismiss this as superstition. But remember, psychologically, the combination of light, scent, and geometry can have a profound effect on the human brain. Ancient Celtic druids likely utilized this effect. They knew how to control the human mind, and that knowledge was the biggest threat to Rome. Rome knew they could destroy bodies with weapons, but destroying belief was hard. So they banned the dodecahedron. But did you know that even in modern times, researching this object induces fear? The British Museum did not display a single dodecahedron until 2014, in a leaked 2022 conference. Transcript, a scientist, admitted it, said working on this is a career killer. Many think it's too fringe, so funding isn't available. But the question is, why are we so afraid? We are afraid because it challenges our conception of history. We like to think ancient people were less progressive than us. The dodecahedron proves they were so skilled in geometry and metallurgy that it still amazes us. And they used that knowledge to talk to the world after death. Is that really possible? Or are we misinterpreting it? Let's look at the new discoveries one last time. The bone particles found inside the Norton Disney dodecahedron. Did they belong to a holy person or an enemy? Isotope analysis says the person was local and had a high-quality diet, meaning it wasn't a common person's bone, but someone important, perhaps a druid priest or a king. After his death, parts of his body were placed in this device so he could return forever. And the device was made in such a way that he might never be free. Is this a tomb or a prison? We may never know. But one thing is certain, what history has taught us. The dodecahedron is the opposite of. It is not a weapon of war. It is a symbol of belief. And that belief was so strong that even the world's most powerful empire couldn't erase it. Hundreds more dodecahedrons are still hidden beneath the soil. What we know today is perhaps just the tip of the iceberg. New technologies every day are helping us look at the ancient past in new ways. X-rays, carbon dating, and isotope analysis are telling stories historians forgot to write. The Roman dodecahedron is no longer just a mystery. It is proof that humans have always believed in an afterlife. And whatever they created for that belief was extraordinary. Do you think this was really a device to communicate with the dead? Or was it a complex astronomical clock? Or is its purpose still beyond our imagination? One thing is for sure, Rome was afraid of it. And when an empire is afraid of something, we should definitely investigate it. Because history doesn't get lost, it just hides under the soil. And our job is to uncover that truth. That discovery from Norton Disney is now kept in the British Museum. Maybe one day we will find something more inside it. And only then will we know who the stone sleepers really were. If you liked this mysterious history, please like the video. Comment below, what do you think was the real purpose of this object? And subscribe, because there are many more chapters of history not found in school books. We will bring out those unknown stories.